Hey, what's up? I haven't been doing this in a bit. It's my sister's birthday today, and there was a bunch of guests over, and I've just been wiped. Thought I'd review It's Only Murders in the Building, Season 1, Episode 1, which is probably just called Pilot. I don't know the title. I took my glasses off, so I can't look it up. But it's a comedy mystery that stars Steve Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. I only watched the first episode so far, so I don't know how it ends. But it's really funny. That was the thing that surprised me somewhat, just in that most true crime shows really aren't funny at all. And I know this isn't like really true crime, but I know it's based on like true crime podcasts. I didn't realize it was done to be humorous. And it starts out just introducing these three characters. Like Steve Martin is a kind of washed up actor who was famous in the 70s, I think they said, or 80s maybe, as like a detective on a TV show. And in this TV show, he was a cop, and I guess he had a catchphrase, but I forget what it is now. And but his name was Brazos on the show, and they call him Brazos throughout the show. And Martin Short is a also washed up theater director who seems to be completely out of money. And it's like done for the first half of the episode that shows him like as if he's working, but then he like has to go to his son to ask for money because he can't get a job. Selena Gomez's character, she's the girl. We don't know too much about her character yet, but it does a really good job of like setting up these characters, and then like they all meet in the elevator, and they don't really know each other yet. And it seems like they don't really get along, especially with Martin Short and Steve Martin. Like, Martin Short's trying to make conversation with Steve Martin. He's just like, get away from me. And as soon as he leaves, he like says something bad about him after he leaves. Like, God, I couldn't wait for him to be gone or something like that. But then they all go to their apartments and they all start listening to the same true crime podcast. And it was kind of funny because, like, well, I don't know. It's not funny, really. But, like, Tina Fey was, like, a guest star as the person who's, like, reading this true crime podcast. And it also, like, cuts to her and what she's... or how they see her as this podcast goes on. But then the fire alarm is pulled, and they have to go to this, and they all go to the same bar, but like Steve Martin gets there first and finds a table, and there's no other tables, so Martin Short gets there, and and there was that huge thing of like how they don't, or like how Steve Martin really doesn't like him, but he comes up to him, and as soon as he sees that he's listening to the same podcast, he's like, what was in that guy's mouth? You know? And like they immediately become like best friends. And it's like, and then Selena shows up and the same thing pretty much. And like the three of them are immediately like closest friends ever. And then they just find out this guy like killed himself supposedly, but they're immediately, because they're like just aficionados of these true crime podcasts, they're immediately like, oh, maybe it was murder. And they like sneak in the building to see the body and start formulating theories. Yeah, the show kind of goes from there. I guess there might be one or two things after that, but that's pretty much the setup of the show. And I think it's a really good setup. And it's really funny, too. I especially like when Steve Martin does, like, this full 180 on Martin Short and just, like, immediately, like, yeah, what was going on with that? And just, like, they immediately become, like, best friends. I thought that was great. Just a great setup for these characters and a great way for them to, like say a lot without saying anything at all, hardly. It's just this full setup of how they really don't like each other. Or, like, Steve Martin really doesn't like Martin Short. The Martin Short seems to be self-centered enough he doesn't even notice that Steve Martin doesn't like him. But then just this one, it's like this 1 second that like it's just turns Steve Martin around completely. And they're suddenly like best friends. They're listening to the same podcast together on the same headphones or the same earbuds, so that one's in each other's ears. And it does do this really good setup, and I really hope that it kind of keeps that momentum. This episode definitely made me excited for the show, for sure. And to see more and to see what this mystery is, if it's really a mystery or maybe they're all just making it up, because like it is officially a suicide in the show, but it just then this other stuff starts happening. It has fun camera angles too, I think, or like fun cinematography. It like really matched the show and like did well to like show how each of these people are different. Just in like the different types of framework and everything. Like when Steve Martin like does this thing where he's like making eggs, so he's making an omelet every day, and it's almost like the camera angles from Requiem for a Dream when they're doing heroin, just like these extreme close-ups of him making eggs and everything. Meanwhile, with like Martin Short, And when he's in his apartment, it's like doing these really wide shots, just showing like how big his apartment is and stuff. It's just like many different, like the camera almost matched the characters, you know. And I thought that was kind of a neat thing, even if it wasn't entirely on purpose. And same with the set. The set's design I thought really stood out. And that's a weird thing, just because like normally, unless it's a period piece, I don't even notice. But here it like had like a very almost symbolic set design for each of these people's apartments. Steve Martin's set is very old school, you know. It looks almost like it's straight from the 60s or 70s with its color design. And then Martin Short's apartment is more like classy and ritzy, even though like it turns out he's not actually classy or ritzy, but that's like what he wants to appear to be to the people around him. And then Selena Gomez is like in a half apartment, or like it's an apartment that's still being like made. Still has like those plastic sheets all over the walls and stuff. There's hardly any furniture because she's basically just squatting there. At least that's my theory. Like I said, she hasn't talked about herself too much yet, and I haven't seen more. But yeah, this was a really fun start to what is hopefully a fun series. I really like mystery comedies. Like Monk is probably still one of my favorite shows, truthfully. I like Psych a lot too. There's a few more that I'm trying to think of. Oh, Columbo. Columbo's amazing. I don't know if I'd call that entirely a mystery comedy, you know? Like, what's funny about it is just how Columbo reacts to things almost. Because he's always so calm and collected and befuddling, even though he's the smartest person on the show. But that's a little different, but it's still fun. It's a fun show. But this was too. This was a lot of fun. I really hope that these characters and the show's plot and everything just keeps building up, because it feels like one of those shows that could do that maybe to like something really great. And I also really like mystery shows that's not episodic, and that's a bit rarer, I think, just because like most mystery shows almost always like who's the killer this time, you know. Few exceptions. Dexter was only like one guy every season, I think, for example. But you know, it's like rarer for these types of detective shows, I think, to be more serialized than episodic. I feel like I'm just rambling off on things now, but so I'll move into scoring, and I think I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I can't think of like anything wrong with it, and it really was like had this elevated thing to put it up to that levels of, I don't know, perfect score, I guess. Just by presenting this like maybe not so much an original idea, because I mean it's just a murder mystery, but presenting it in like a very original way and having like really different characters than what you would expect in a murder mystery show. Well, that's my review of this first episode. Please like and subscribe. I'll try to get to Oscar movies again tomorrow, and maybe do another review of this, depending. And as always, please suggest anything you'd want to see me review, and ring the bell, I guess.